if you're going to run in a Democratic primary, there are sort of like performative aesthetic things maybe that you can do that aren't necessarily a function of policy. I mean, it sounds to me like this race that people didn't care on, that Medicare for all or policy positions were just not as crucial to the cohort of people who voted in this race. And it was more just sort of like a broad sort of aesthetic.
Sam, you're describing the much maligned Sean McElwee normie progressive theory of change. Yes, like this is my view. I think that you need to approach this as, you know what I've always said about persuasion. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Like the message from progressives, in my view, should be progressive values are the fulfillment of what the Democratic Party should be. We are the ones who really want to fight for the values that you have, fight for Joe Biden's agenda while Manchin and Sinema are putting on the chopping block. And I do think that those aesthetic shifts would be very effective. People who vote in Democratic primaries, remember, this district has probably 750,000 people, something around there. That's probably what a congressional district has. I think like 70,000 people voted. I don't know the number off the top of my head.
75,000 and 64, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah, so it's about 10%, right, of the district. So we are talking about a very small set of people who are registered Democrat and show up a lot for primaries. And they have very positive views towards the Democratic Party. And I think that's what you have to take into account with this. And it's always, great to mobilize people. And I think, but we over rely on mobilizing relative to making sure that people who are going to turn out all the time because they vote in every election support you.
So that's the big lesson.
Yes, the Sean McElwee was right. Yes, that is my takeaway from this race, as it is of most races.
Well, but there's a lot of people, that I'm reading that sort of agree with that basic concept. Is that to go in and to start either, and I think and it seems to me that Nina Turner made an effort through this race to appeal to those voters. The problem is that she didn't have the money at the time that it needed to be deployed to fend off the attacks that were sort of like low-hanging fruit. If I don't need to be a genius. If I want to alienate someone who is running in a Democratic primary from sort of those type of normie Democratic voters, I don't need to be a genius. If you've given me a quote where you say the Democratic president is bullshit.
Yeah, just let your, Matt was saying this, let your surrogates do that, right? You don't need to be the ones calling voting for Biden half a bowl of shit or whatever the case may be.
But I also find a lot of insight in Mao. I said I also find a lot of insight in Mao.
In Mao? What?
I thought you said Mao.
Oh, Mao. No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
What?
Matt.
Oh, Matt. Yeah, I guess Matt. Mao.
I was struggling to.
Sean, thank you so much. I appreciate you breaking this down for us. Folks, there's more of what you've just saw where that came from. That's if you hit the subscribe and like button. Thank you. Really, thank you.